Hey guys, it's been a while. I bet the first thing that you can notice is that I finally have a new camera stand now, so I'm no longer filming my videos like an amateurish vlogger. And I bet another thing that you guys are currently wondering is that why haven't I uploaded in about a month? Because the last thing that I uploaded was my review on the Clone Wars back in May. So you're probably wondering why haven't I gotten around to making this video sooner? Well, I'm just going to be frank with you guys and say the fact that I had a bit of difficulty trying to exactly find the right time to make the video because I'm currently just now on summer vacation. I just got done finishing up Driver's Ed not too long ago because I'm currently taking that now. So now I can finally get around to doing this video. And it's a video that I've been teasing for a long time. I've been talking about it in other videos, dropping hints of it at the end of others. But I think it's finally about time that I talk about the franchise that is My Hero Academia. Now, to those of you who do not know what My Hero Academia is, I'm going to explain. You see, My Hero Academia is a shonen anime, and to give an explanation to the explanation, a shonen anime is essentially a anime that is aimed at its target demographic is usually about young men in between the ages of 12 and 16 or 18. I'm forgetting what exactly, but that's the primary demographic for a lot of anime, and that's also what Dragon Ball Z, One Piece is another example of a shonen anime, and they usually have very recurring tropes, usually about main characters who wish to be the best around and wish to become the strongest there is and other things like that. Well, My Hero Academia is the recent attempt at is the most recent shonen anime. In fact, it's even published in a weekly magazine titled Shonen Jump. But anyways, the explanation is that the actual story of My Hero Academia goes a little something like this. You see, in the world of My Hero Academia, around 80% of the world is born with a kind of superpower, which in this universe is called quirks. And quirks can be able to range from literally anything. You could literally have the ability to manipulate the surroundings around you to be able to create explosions into fire, or you could also just have a dog head for some reason. These are actual characters, I'm dead serious. But anyways, the story follows young Izuku Midoriya, whose nickname is Deku, and that's what I'll be calling him. Deku is a huge sucker for heroes. He loves heroes so much. In fact, he even aspires to be a hero one day and very much save people with a smile like his hero, All Might. All Might is the #1 symbol of peace in Japan, and he is considered to be the greatest hero there is. But Deku has only one problem though. He's part of the rare 20% of people that is born without a quirk. And because of that, he was ridiculed for it mercilessly when he was a child. Particularly at his old childhood best friend, Katsuri Bakugo, or Kacchan. Now, Kacchan's ability is that he has the ability to literally create explosions. And to boot, he also has a hot, tempery personality, so he's not the greatest person there is. Now, Deku still, despite that setback, wishes to become a hero. But then one day, he ends up meeting his idol, All Might. And he's amazed and shocked that he's finally getting to meet his #1 hero. And it turns out that there's a dark secret about All Might. You see, All Might ended up getting into a battle with an individual long time ago, and it left him severely damaged. And because of that, All Might can only be able to use his powers for a certain amount of time. And then he reverts back to his true form of being like a thin, scrawny looking dude. His hero form is that he's usually super buff. He's very much like the Superman of Japan. But then he's pretty much looks like a very weak individual that you could literally push to the sidewalk and his bones will break easily. Or something like that. But yeah, and Deku is shocked by this. And is asked by All Might to keep this a secret for obvious reasons. But then, after an encounter with a sludge monster in which he actually tried to capture Bakugo, Deku actually ran in to save the day even though he had no power at all. And he tried to make a decent attempt to save Kacchan. But later on, All Might actually would later go to Midoriya and state, look, I saw you back there with the sludge monster, and I saw the fact that you have the true signs of a hero. Now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I can pass my quirk on to anybody that I choose, and I want you to be my successor. My time is running out of being the world's greatest hero, and I need somebody to take my place. So I choose you. And Deku is amazed that he's going to become the successor to All Might and inherit his power called One for All, which is passed down by generation to generation. And he does this by consuming All Might's hair. The reason being is because he needs to be able to consume the DNA of the individual in order to absorb One for All. But there's a catch. You see, because Deku's body is not used to the power of One for All, initially when he used it, he would usually break his bones of whatever thing he was planning on using. Like, say for example, he was using his right arm to punch somebody and he was about to use One for All. He uses it and punches somebody, but it breaks pretty much all the bones in his body. Now, Deku has to be able to learn to overcome this. Not only in order to be able to harness the power of One for All, but to become a hero. And in this world, in order to be able to become a hero, you need to enroll in hero school. Enter UA High, which is pretty much the #1 prestige hero school in all of Japan. And Kacchan also got accepted into the same school. And this is not happy with him at all. And it very much creates sort of, if I can compare it to anything, the rivalry between Deku and Kacchan is very similar to the rivalry between Goku and Vegeta. That's probably the best thing that I could be able to compare this to. And eventually Deku does get accepted into UA, and he ends up encountering a very unique group of individuals. Tenya Ida, for example, his quirk is that he has jet engines built into his legs. Another one is Yuchako Uraraka, whose ability is that she can literally be able to manipulate the gravity of whatever she touches, which is really cool. And of course, there's a lot of very quirky and unique characters amongst the My Hero Academia scene. And pretty much the entire show is just Deku's journey on how he becomes the world's greatest hero. And yeah, man, I just absolutely love this show. I know that was a pretty big build-up for me eventually saying the fact that I love this show, but I can't help it. I just love it so much. But what specifically do I love about the show? Well, for one thing, as a lot of you guys know, by my surrounding areas, I'm a huge superhero guy. I love comic books, I love Marvel, I love DC, love all that stuff. So it's very interesting to be able to see Japan's take on what superheroes look like. And to give you an idea about, what I mean is that they actually do have several sort of superhero tropes that are used in the series, and also shonen tropes too, and they actually sort of subvert them on their head. Like a great example of this is that, I think it's reflected best in Anime America, or another channel that analyzed My Hero Academia, is that they stated the fact that, in a regular shonen anime, All Might would have actually been the protagonist, and his Vegeta would have been the #2 hero, the flame hero Endeavor. But they don't do that. Instead, they focus on the next generation, that being Deku and Kacchan. In fact, Endeavor actually has a son named Todoroki. And Todoroki's quirk is that he has the ability to control both fire and ice. And he also has a really complex backstory to him too. We don't see much of him in the first season, but when we see more of him in season 2 during the sports festival, we see more to the character of Todoroki, in that apparently his father actually abused him because he wanted to be able to groom a successor to be able to surpass All Might. So he found an individual who had an ice quirk so he could have children with her, tried multiple times to have kids with her that had this power that Todoroki had, and only accepts Todoroki as his true heir. And he very much physically and verbally abused Todoroki, so much of the fact that when his mother saw him, she couldn't help but see Endeavor in her son, so she ended up literally pouring a thing of hot water on the left side of his face, like Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And yeah, man, that's a pretty scarring childhood. Like, yeah, I'm surprised the fact that Todoroki's actually still a very functioning individual after all that. But yeah, he's definitely a very complex character. And that's what another reason why I love this show so much is the characters. The characters are so well, whether they're the main protagonists or if they're side characters, they all have their own personalities and they all have their own reasons for why they wish to be heroes. Initially, you think Kacchan is sort of going to be an antagonist. Like, you think that maybe he's going to start out trying to be a hero, but eventually he's going to turn into a villain. But no. He does truly wish to have he truly does wish to be one of the greatest heroes of all time, but the methods that he uses in order to do that are very different and a lot more harsher and meaner than a lot of other methods typically used by other heroes. But it just really makes you think, wow, this guy's actually very interesting when it comes to the reasoning as to why he wants to be a hero, which is most notably shown towards the end of the first season. And another thing that I absolutely love is the the sort of mentorship that All Might has between Deku is really fascinating to me because I really love seeing these two interact and him trying to be able to help Deku become the number one hero in his place and in order to be able to fully harness One for All. And another thing that I also want to compliment on this show is the animation. The animation on this was done by Bone Studio, who are also known for doing incredible work on Fullmetal Alchemist. I think they did Brotherhood, or I think they did the first one and then Brotherhood, but yeah, I know they did one of the Fullmetal Alchemists. It's a bit weird why there's two. Nah, doesn't matter. But yeah, the show's animation is just absolutely amazing. And while I haven't read much of the manga, what I have read, it very much feels like that they literally just translated the page to the screen. And it's just amazing. The fight sequences in particular are a sight to behold. They're absolutely amazing. Now, heroes can only be as great as their villains. But as the MCU has proven, that's not necessarily always the case. And initially, in the first season, the heroes end up facing the Class 1A. They have to face off against a group of individuals known as the League of Villains, as read by Shigaraki. Now, Shigaraki's quirk is that whatever he touches, he can make it dissolve into ash. Yikes. He is definitely an individual that you do not want to mess with. Now, initially when they're introduced in the first season, yes, they do come off as sort of scary and threatening. Well, kind of, but they don't really have much depth to them, if that makes sense. We know that they're pretty big deals, but we don't know much about the actual villains themselves. But I understand why they did that. It's very much the reason why we didn't get much on the other characters besides Deku, Kacchan, All Might, all that. They wanted to be able to keep the focus on Deku and his journey for like the first season. And then on the subsequent seasons, they were able to further develop other characters. But yeah, we really didn't get much development in terms of the villains. Until season 2, the hero killer Stain, man, the battle between Deku, Todoroki, Ida, and Stain was just absolutely amazing. And man, in season 4, during the battle, okay, I'm jumping way far ahead of myself, but I just can't help it, man. I just love this franchise so much. And even then, we actually do get further development from the villains as well. We get further dimensions to them, which is actually really cool about the other seasons, is that they can further explore the character development. Now, as I'm currently recording this right now, the show wrapped up its 4th season. It actually wrapped up the 4th season not too long ago. However, the dub process for the series has been delayed because of the situation we find ourselves in right now. So, I'm not fully caught up yet on season 4, but I only know the fact that there are like 2 episodes left. And I do know the fact that the series has been renewed for a 5th season, and they're currently in production on one, albeit they've been implementing social distancing in order to be able to, well, keep that going. But yeah. Oh, and I completely forgot about the movie too, or rather, movies, because My Hero Academia was so successful that they even got their own feature film. The first one was called My Hero Academia 2 Heroes. Now, the plot of this particular movie is that it features Deku, All Might, and even the class of 1A literally going to this man-made island in pretty much in the middle of nowhere called Island. Island is pretty much a place where scientists use to help. They're pretty much like the next generation of like science people. And All Might ends up going there in order to be able to visit an old friend named David, if I remember correctly. And while there, supervillains end up attacking for, well, obvious reasons, because, you know, yeah. And the other movie is called My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, which actually came out not too long ago. It actually premiered in Japan like about last year, I think in December, and it ended up having official screenings here in the US sometime around February. And I actually remember I tried to go to one of these screenings, but unfortunately I just couldn't find a seat, and eventually it sold out, so I couldn't see it. But based on what I'm hearing, I really wish that I could have gotten to see this in the theater, because I bet it would have been awesome to see. But it's really unfortunate. Now, you think the fact that, because usually when it comes to making when it comes to making movies based upon a particular franchise, it can be a bit challenging, taking what is usually from about like a 22-minute episode and you're stretching it out to like an hour-and-a-half long movie. But, yeah, My Hero Academia does not encounter that problem, as 2 Heroes is really good, and I also hear the fact that Heroes Rising is also really great, too. Still, I'm waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray, and then when it does, I'll give you a review on that. But, yeah, they're both really, really good. But, yeah, final thoughts. My Hero Academia is an absolutely amazing series. I love it with all my heart. I love the characters. I love the story. I love how the fact that it takes typical shonen tropes and sort of subverts them on their head a little bit. The action is absolutely amazing alongside the animation. Yeah, overall, I love My Hero Academia. It's actually one of my all-time favorite animes. I'm dead serious. So, yeah. I'm not gonna really, usually at the end of these videos, I usually give a score on the things that I really enjoy. But because I love My Hero Academia so much, I'm just going to say, for my rating, go see it. Just watch it. Because there are multiple ways to. You can go on Crunchyroll, which has subs. You can go on Funimation, which has dubs. You have also Hulu, which also has both subs and dubs. So there are many ways to watch it. So I really just encourage you guys to check it out if you haven't seen it already, because I do think the fact that it is a really, really great series, and I am glad the fact that it is so popular, because I just love this franchise so much. I love it. So if I really did have to give it a rating, probably like a 10 out of 10, because I just absolutely love this series so much. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this extra long return video that I have. Hope you guys, if you guys are interested in seeing what, if you guys are interested in seeing what I'm going to be reviewing next, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And yeah, as always, stay gold.